Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today we're talking about welding and we're going to look at this Hobart 240. I'm going to show you how to set it up and then how to weld. This video is going to be pretty quick, so if you need further explanation, feel free to drop a comment below and I'll be more than happy to go a little bit more in depth with what I'm doing. A Hobart 240 or a 240 welder talks to the amount of voltage that you're getting from the wall. Most wall outlets are 110. This is what you're going to find at a cheap Harbor Freight welder or Amazon welder. This particular welder takes a over double that voltage to run it. When talking welding, not a lot of times do people show you how to set up this stuff in a quick, easy way. I'm going to just go over it, let you know what I experienced, and then hopefully this will help you. A Hobart 240, which this is, essentially uses 240 volts from the wall to run it. What's nice about this is it does use shielding gas. It is not the flux core wire, which means that it's going to lay a better weld because of the shielding gas. The gas is 75% argon, 25% CO2, and you can get it from places like Northern Tool or your local gas welding store, which you can search. The pressure I run on the regulator is anywhere from 25 to 30 psi. That seems to do best for me. I really haven't found a lot of good information on what to set it up with. Now, when setting up the dials on the front of the welder, luckily they put a wonderful chart inside the door of most welders that will help you. This particular one is especially good because it shows you both the settings for flux core and the settings for solid wire. Now, my big problem when I started is that when it came, it was set up for flux core wire, and like an idiot not checking it, I ran it for quite some time with the flux core setting, which is these wires on the inside. Once I found out that it wasn't set properly and switched to the proper wire setting, not only did I get better heat on my welds, but I got a much better bond between the metal pieces, and kind of hitting myself a little bit in the head for forgetting or not knowing all that, but hopefully this will save you from that same mistake. Let's go ahead and get to welding. Today we're welding 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch plate for a bumper that I'm making for my Jeep. This is basically the prepped plate. I've gone ahead and sanded down the edge of it to make bare metal. When welding, it's super important to have bare metal. If you don't, your welds are not going to be very good. They're not going to look clean, and the welder's going to spit and spatter everywhere. I also have the lead edge, which is going to go here and fit across it to make a nice C-channel bumper. Start by tack welding it in. These are small welds just to hold the metal in place so I can verify the angle and make sure that everything looks nice and clean. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Now, this process is not the most quiet, so there's plenty of noise that's going to be going on. One big noise that is created is the welder itself. There's a fan that's keeping the system cool inside, and it makes quite the racket when it's on and running. We're going to go ahead and flip that on. We're setting it at a heat of 5 and a speed of 60. That's what the chart recommends. We're also opening up our shielding gas all the way to make sure that it's ready to go. We're going to go ahead and flip the welder on. I've attached the ground lead to it already, so that's set to go. I'm going to go ahead and put on my gloves and my safety helmet. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of mock this in place, like so. is the completed weld project. So what we've basically done is created a bead of weld, and we've kind of puddled it back on each other over and over again just by pulling the gun's trigger, letting it go, pulling, letting go, pulling, letting go, so on and so forth. And it creates that nice beaded look. Now with a TIG welder, you can actually do this with a constant weld because it's welding cooler, but this ends up looking pretty darn well. What we're gonna do is now hit it with a whip wheel and clean off the kind of the char to it and see how it looks. The welds look pretty decent. They're nice and clean. There's not a ton of spatter or a ton of overlap. And again, this is going to get painted. You know, not being absolutely show quality, top end welding it's okay. I don't mind. This is the start of it. There's still 2 more pieces to add, as well as we're going to cut an opening for a winch plate to come through. The winch is going to be hidden underneath the truck, so this is kind of a front shroud to the bumper. Here's just a quick spy of what it looks like on the Jeep. It's just a C-channel bumper, it's nothing crazy. I'll be adding a gentle arc to kind of match the fender arc. And of course the fender needs to be straightened out. But that's pretty much it. That's how it's gonna look. And here's our finished product, all painted up and nice. We did weld some ends on, just to have a nice even look. The welding came out really good with it. Ready to smash into a tree, which will undoubtedly happen off-roading one time this summer.